My name is Fraser.
My name is Mark.
And we are the hosts of the geekiest show alive. To the outside world, we're ordinary geeks.
But in the Fab International Studios, we talk comics and find other geeks just like us. This is Geek of the Week.
This is Pull or Pass, the section of the show where we take a look at free comic books that have come out this week, and we say whether we're going to pull on them or pass on them. Now, if you're wondering what do you mean by this word pull, don't worry, I've got your back. Now, when you go into your local comic book store and you pick up an issue, let's say you've been binging the latest series of The Umbrella Academy, and you see an Umbrella Academy book. Could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, who knows? Any number on it, and you pick it up, you put it on the desk. The clerk will ask you, sometimes, most of the time, do you want to add this to your pull? And you go, yeah, sure, why not? Maybe blindly saying yes to things like I do all the time. I have a collection of gift cards and loyalty cards I do not need that prove just this. But basically what that means is whenever another Umbrella Academy book comes out, a 7, 8, 1 billion, they'll stick it behind for you, just to keep it nice and safe, because, you know, comics, they do go quite a bit. We've experienced it this week that sometimes you don't get the comics that you...
No, we missed out on two of the comics we wanted to do.
That you want, and it's sort of like it's like a subscription service, but less intense, less like, we need your money, it's a direct debit every week, where are you? Why aren't you here? You can come in whenever you want. You can come in every Wednesday when new comic books are. I'd be super keen. First one at the door, like, oh, my comics here. They are. Yay! Or you can come like once a month, like payday and stuff like that. You know,
I tend to do that.
It's pretty chill. I think I've been on both ends of the spectrum. Especially when I was in my spider, like, oh my goodness, there's so many spider books, I need to know them all. And there was other books as well, like when Titans was doing its good thing and Booster Gold was out like every week. I was like buzzing. But none of them are the books this week. In fact, we're going to start this off with a very interesting one, and I love that this book exists, and I love how they know it's bonkers. And we're going to talk about Hulkverines by Marvel. Yes, Hulkverines. So for those of you who don't know, obviously you've got your Wolverine, you've got your Hulk. So they did a little thing where they just mashed them together, and they did a thing called Weapon H. Yes, Weapon H. And it's... There you go, whatever.
There's no... It's
yeah, but like I spent the whole summer getting dissed for saying H, like how we say it.
Correct.
Yeah, so now I just do a mismatch. Right. No one insult me on how I talk, okay? It's very hurtful.
I'm just
with a H. It's hurtful. It's hurtful with a H or a H or a H, wherever you want. But anyway, they combined the two together, so if you've not seen this book or you've not seen this character, just Google it. It's incredible. It's the Hulk. It's the Hulk, but with Wolverine claws. It's like, it's so dope. It's daft. But that's comics for you. But what did you think of the book, Hulkverines?
I didn't think it was dope. I didn't think it was ace. I thought it was a shameless and lazy cash-in where they've just melded the two favourite characters.
Exactly.
I just thought it was...
Isn't that just the 90s comics, though? Like, sure.
Yeah, maybe it is, but they should be doing better than that.
Oh, no.
How many amalgams can you get away with before it's too many? It's been done to death, and this is just a lazy, shameless cash-in. And I expected it to be bad, and I thought that it was bad.
Well, you know what? Like, I was... when they announced Weapon H and it was happening and they were combining the two, I had similar thoughts. It was like, oh, this is just another amalgam. But what I will say is they have managed to give the characters an actual development, and like there is an actual story behind him, which I appreciated. Like we got it at the beginning, like with him and his family, and like he's defending his family. Like again, it's sort of like one of the best things about the Hulk is his relationship with Bruce Banner, and I feel like they have developed that relationship. It would be great if I could remember the guy's name. It's CC something. There's so many comic book characters' names to remember, and this one's just flowing off the top of my head. But I did like his his protectiveness over his family, and that's how he became angry. And like, he was sort of like, he got worried because he got a cold, and obviously with the Weapon X stuff, he's supposed to be immune to stuff, and he was sneezing. And why he's been volunteered for that program, I sort of did enjoy it. So it's one of them where at first you think, oh, this is just an amalgam sort of like cash grab, but like for me, I got more into it, and I liked a bit at the beginning. Like Park sort of acknowledged that it is crazy. Like, yes, we are doing this. This was gonna happen. Like, of course, we mix these two together. Of course, they're gonna fit. This amalgam is gonna face the other two, and it's a cool sort of thing in history as well, because Wolverine debuted in Hulk, and now so like I do sort of like that connection.
I get it.
It's a little less forced than some amalgams in my opinion anyway. Like, it's no Infinity Warps. Infinity Warps, I will grant, was pretty bad. But this, I'm sort of like, okay. And you can sort of, it makes more story sense as well that they would go, you know what, if we want to make a weapon, why not make what we did with Weapon X and what we did with the gamma radiation stuff with Hulk and put them together. Like, obviously kids and comic book fans have thought of that. Oh my goodness, imagine if they mix the two together. So maybe a mad scientist would think of that.
Look, if a book like this keeps Marvel going because children buy it, I'm all for it.
Children at heart as well.
I just won't enjoy it.
It won't be for yourself, and that's the thing. I think that's important with
the
comics.
art was great, by the way.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
I really like the art, so don't
Like,
get me wrong. There are some positives in this.
It was really cool. I just wish sometimes you'd lead with the positives, you know.
The art was excellent.
The
art was exceptional.
I think the design of the characters is great, because there is that thing of like, it could just be a green Hulk with the claws, but the way they've like every little
shoulders.
details, yeah.
He looks great. I'll give you that.
Yeah. But yeah, really, like, I really enjoyed it. And there's only 3 issues of this, so I'm probably going to pull it because we saw Wolverine came in at the end and they're leading to that fight. So I'm sort of like, you know what? This is just sort of, it's one of them, it's like a Fast and the Furious. You know, don't expect too much out of it. It's just going to be a bit of fun. Like, turn your brain off for a bit and just read. And sometimes you need that, I think. Sometimes you just need to be able to, like, switch off and just be like, oh, this is pretty fun. So it'd be a pull for me. I
don't hate that it exists. I quite like that it exists, but there are lots and lots of people who will adore this comic.
Yeah.
But for me, it wasn't right. It didn't sit. I didn't enjoy it, so it is unfortunately a pass.
Oh, that's all right. That's your. Now, we did talk about 2 books that we didn't get to pick up this week, but on the plus side, we did get to pick 2 other books up. And one of those books, I'm really glad, actually, it was a pleasant surprise that we actually managed to pick this up. I was really excited because I was sort of unaware of it at first. But then I saw the name Mark Millar and I was like, oh, here we go. And I was like, Mark will like this as well because it's Image. And it was Sharkey the Bounty Hunter. Now, what did you think of this book? Like,
I immediately noticed, that's a lot of double pages.
Yeah. Double page spreads, aren't it?
But I'm a sucker for a double page spread.
They are pretty good.
I do like a double page spread.
When they're used effectively, it is nice. Like, oh, hello.
I felt that the artwork, again, Image, it's almost a given, but I felt that the artwork was something pretty special.
Yeah.
And I really loved the images, and the colours were fabulous.
Yeah, it started with this really cool alien world, sort of like, and the species.
It was a little bit shallow, but lots of fun.
Yeah.
I found
I get that.
As sci-fi worlds go, it does work for me.
Yeah.
It definitely does work.
Shallow but fun.
Yeah.
I like that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I like that. So I'm going to put that on my Instagram bar.
Is that to describe me or you or comics or?
We'll go for all 3.
All of those things, yeah.
No, I enjoyed the main character as well. I sort of, I dug the sort of like the lore of the bounty hunters in there, like how sort of like it had been illegal, and then they sort of like, he's getting finessed with payments and stuff like that, and he wants to go out of his way. It was, I really dug it, and I was like, it was one of them. It was like a pleasant surprise because, like we say, this wasn't our first choice for stuff, and then as soon as I saw Mark Millar, I was like,
we might look at those books if we can get a hold of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the other 2 books. We're not going to say them now in case we don't get them. Well, hopefully
we can say what we tried to get.
No, just in case it doesn't happen.
Whatever you say.
Just in case it doesn't happen, because they're hopefully, fingers crossed, going to be next week's books.
Yeah.
Actually, I may have already put them out on social media.
You have put them out on social media. It's Anthem and High Level. We're going to try and get hold of them and do them next week,
yes.
but no promises. So there you go. But yeah, I was a bit concerned
Now-
about those because I'm looking forward. Anyway, I haven't said where I was going to pull or pass on Sharkey.
Yeah, you're going to pull a pass on it.
Well, it's going to be a Netflix thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's made me want to watch the Netflix thing. It's definitely made me want to watch the Netflix thing, but I don't know. It was a little bit tropey.
What would you do if the Netflix thing is really good? Would you go back and pull maybe? Yeah.
It's a little bit tropey, but I quite like tropey telly more than I like tropey
comics. That is fair.
So it's definitely a pull to watch it on Netflix, and it's a maybe pull on the comic
It's cool because
maybe get the trade.
It's finally twigged to me. It's like, oh, Mark Millar's doing a lot recently, and it's because Netflix have like bought out or done a licensing with Miller World, and I'm like, so he's doing more comics so they can go into... Because Miller does that quite a lot. He did it with Kingsman, where he'll make a comic, but he treats the comic almost like a screenplay, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so he does the comic just to make a film.
You can kind of tell with this as well.
Yeah, but I really dug it, and like I can imagine it being a Netflix sci-fi sort of series. So yeah, I'd probably
I'm looking forward to the TV series. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and maybe I will return back to the comics if the TV series is good.
Yeah,
so it's technically a pull, but not for the comic.
Yeah. He's getting your money somewhere.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I liked the little companion as well that came at the end, and it was sort of that thing of like, it's that buddy sort of like, I've got to be a dad, but I don't want to be a dad sort of father figure role. And now, interestingly, we're going to talk about a book. It's interesting you mentioned next week, because issue 2 of this is coming out next week, so I thought it'd be nice to go back and sort of look at it. And also, it's very bizarre that this has come out, because I swear the second one only just came out. But I did see this a couple of weeks ago and was like, oh, maybe we could do this, but then didn't. So it's good to go back a bit of reflection and do it. It's Fight Club 3, the first issue. So
yeah,
everyone remembers the cult classic film Fight Club. So it got a comic book sequel, Fight Club 2. And now that was really successful. It's by the same writer who did the book. Sorry, it was a
something.
Yeah, it was a book before it was a film. But the writer of the book has also wrote a comic with Fight Club 2, and he's done Fight Club 3 now. What do you think? Let's put this into the grand scheme of things. What do you think about the Fight Club sequels being comics rather than books? And what do you think of the book itself, let's say?
I think it's a fascinating choice. You don't tend to get that happen very often, but Ben Aronovich has done some Rivers of London comic books, and I love those. I read the original books first.
Yeah.
And then they added this ongoing comic book series, which dots shorter stories in between and after, and dots them around the timeline of the books, and they work really, really well. But I was a huge fan of the Rivers of London books. Anyway, confession time. I might be the only person in the world who thinks that Fight Club's overrated. So there probably wasn't the book for me.
I think that there are definitely people out there who think Fight Club's overrated, and it's that funny thing. Like my journey with Fight Club was that I started studying film in college. For Americans or non-Brits, I mean 16 to 18 sort of thing. Not college, as in like
sixth form.
Sort of, yeah. So it's yours. It's the high school for America, the last 2 years of high school.
Right.
And I was following all these film sites and all these like film YouTubers and stuff like that, and movie reviews to sort of get to my knowledge a bit better and find out what films. I'm like, it's every college guy's film, Fight Club. Every college guy's got a poster of Fight Club, and yes, I do have a poster of Fight Club because I do fit into that stereotype. When I watched it, I really did enjoy it, and it is one of those films, and there's loads of jokes. There's a great College Humor sketch where it's like it's the Broscars instead of the Oscars, and it's like best film, Fight Club, and it's not even come out like it is a funny sketch. I'm probably not doing it justice, but there is that thing behind it. But behind the sort of fan base is something cool there. I think the art style, like, because I've always picked up that Fight Club 2 book, and the art style in it is great, and it sort of it captures the themes of the book and the film a lot more, and I think that's why they've gone to comics, because the images sort of help enhance it.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's less of a like, oh, they're lazy, they're just writing it in comics now, so they have to write less words. It's more visual. And this was one thing I really liked about this was how it interacted with the format. So there's this fly that's on the comic. Yeah. And like when you're flicking through, it's like a fly's on there. And I was like, it is sort of that 4/4 breaking, sort of like, you know, messing with your mind sort of
I was going to say that was a massive positive myself.
And I think it also helped that I probably read this a bit sleep deprived, so was a bit like the unreliable narrator, who's now got a name. It says at the beginning, I can't pronounce it, so there you go. He's still going to be the untitled narrator to me.
The art is good. The art is very good.
And I think it complements it. They're going for an interesting story. Would I pull it? Yeah.
Did you read Fight Club 2?
See, I didn't, so I think I'm going to have to read that. What it'll have to be is we'll throw Fight Club 2 on trade-off for both of us.
Oh, please, no.
No, I'll probably just... this, if anything, I put this on here to sort of give me a kick up the butt to say, right, you've been talking about reading Fight Club 2. You should probably do it now. So this was a kick up the butt. So I'll probably read it. Depending on how long it takes me, will determine whether Fight Club 3 is a pull or whether it's going to have to be like a trade weight. But yeah, definitely interested in it.
I'll be honest, I wasn't interested in Fight Club 2, so I definitely wasn't interested in Fight Club 3.
Like, yeah,
so
it would be bizarre if you went, you know what, I'm not interested in the second one, but the third one where I'm missing crucial bits of story.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, I did it. Enjoyed it, yeah. The art style and stuff like that. It was just didn't even need to know the story. Can't even tell you much about the story, to be honest. The impression was mainly the art.
It did get that nasty, broken vibe that the Fight Club film has. So yeah,
yeah. But that's just what we think. What do you fellow geeks think? If you've checked any of these books out, are they on your pull? Did you pass on them? Did you read them and pass on them? Or did you just look at them straight out and go, nah, that's a pass? They're bringing out a third Fight Club? What? What else did you pick up this week? Maybe there was some other books. I do want to point out there was someone on Twitter. It was
did you pick up High Level or Anthem?
Yeah, we didn't. Did you pick our book up?
Yeah, have you got my copy?
We probably should have already put it on our pull, because you can also do that. If you know something's coming out, you can tell a retailer to put it on your pull. So we're going to probably have to start doing that. Forward thinking, might start doing that. But yeah, where was I going with that? Yeah, so what was on your pull this week? Want to shout out, there was, I can't really put up the name yet because I'd have to do all this searching, but there was a retailer who mentioned that there was only 9 books out by DC this week, which is
that's
bizarre.
Rare.
And he was saying how, like, it's really hard, because the big two are Marvel and DC, and to make a business selling this stuff when the big two are only, like, one of the big two's only giving out 9 books. Now, this didn't include Vertigo and some of the sort of minor other sort of companies they've got under the DC umbrella, but apparently that only added 6 more, and it does make you think. Now, there are sort of dry weeks with comics, but should comic, like, you don't want to force comics out, but you should sort of be supporting businesses, like, in a way. Maybe that's also a topic. If you want to talk about that, if you saw that tweet or you're just hearing me blah, blah about it now and you're thinking, actually, that's a very good point. I noticed there wasn't much DC on my pull this week, and the stuff that was on the pull we didn't get a take. No. Sorry, High Level. There will be a time for you.
Oh, it is sad.
But yeah, we want to know your thoughts. Facebook group, we've got there. We've got Twitter, comment section below, on YouTube, Tumblr. Loves Tumblr, this guy.
Tumblr.
If you want to send a letter with a Marvel stamp, you can do that. Carrier pigeon. Anyway, just send it anywhere. Message in a bottle, but with a stamp on.
So listen to Geek of the Week. Be sure to tune in next week. Same geek time, same geek channel.
And if you want to follow us on social media, it's at GOTW Radio on Twitter, Search for Geek of the Week Radio Show on Facebook. And to listen again, it's www.mixcloud.com/Geek of the Week Radio Show.